Legendary actor Paul Newman once said, "If there truly is a heaven on earth, it must be VIR." For the first time in its half-century history, this truly glorious ribbon of racing real estate hosts the most prestigious event in amateur motorsports, the Sports Car Club of America's National Championship Runoffs. Hi all and welcome to Virginia International Raceway. It's the 56th running of SCCA's Championship Runoffs, the Run for the Gold. I'm Greg Creamer, joined by Andy Hollis, longtime SCCA competitor and pro racing championship engineer. And we've got a good one coming up here. This is T4.
That sure is. The atmosphere is electric here, Greg. It's amazing to me. We've been here all week watching through qualifying, the excitement building, but this is race day. This is our first race. Looking out at the lovely, as you mentioned, red, black ribbon of asphalt through this thing. Looking now up through the climbing S's, the infamous character that this place has. Really great racing going through here on this wonderful track.
Yeah, it is. It's an absolutely fabulous location. We got great races. Touring 4, as I said, coming up. For more on that, let's check in with Brian Marine.
Touring 4. The touring categories are the closest thing to stock of all of the SCCA classes and are an outgrowth of the old showroom stock categories. Touring 4 is the most affordable of all of the touring classes, and momentum driving is key for a fast lap. Let's meet some of the contenders. Up first, John Heinrichs, a 15-time Runoffs champion and last year's Touring 4 winner. He's Sports Car Magazine's pick to win this year. Up next, Owen Sheffer, driving a Mazda RX-8. He's a Runoffs rookie, making his debut at VIR this weekend. Tommy Boileau, driving an Acura RSX, has 4 wins in 5 major starts this year and has made the tow to VIR from Colorado. Next is Raymond Blethen, driving a Mazda RX-8. He's the Hoosier Super Tour points leader in 2019 and was 3rd back in 2017 at Indianapolis. Next is Steve Strickland, driving a Mazda MX-5. He's 2nd in Hoosier Super Tour points and is active in the club as an event lead for the SCCA's Track Night in America. And Nick Leveroni, driving a Subaru BRZ. He's yet to finish on the podium at the Runoffs, but has a couple of 4ths, including last year at Sonoma Raceway, and he was a winner on Saturday during the Hoosier Super Tour at VIR earlier this year.
Well, good look there at some of the variety that's going to be unfolding in this very competitive class. The grid incredibly closely packed. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. But one of the things that impressed me, I mean, we're looking at it, the top 6 covered by a half a second, Andy.
Isn't that amazing? Super tight competition here. And look at the variety of cars here. We've got a number of the, what we call the Toyota Subaru twins, the Toyota 86 Subaru BRZ. But we've also got Mazda represented with the RX-8. We've got Honda represented with the Acura RSX Type S. Great variety of cars there and lots of experience in these drivers.
You bet. You see some of the corner workers getting ready to go for a busy day of racing. And before we get started, let's meet the 3rd member of our broadcast team, Hayward Wagner.
Morning, guys. We're down here on the grid under a 3-minute warning. This race is going to be a fantastic story. And right now it's a story of pairs. You got a pair of BRZ Toyota 86 on the front row, John Heinrichs and Nick Leveroni. You've got a Force RX-8 right behind those guys, but I want to talk about a couple of these cars in particular. Number 1, Leveroni and Tom Fowler. Both of these guys are shop owners. These are the guys that prep the cars. Both of them are rolling out on R7s. This is the harder compound tire. The rest of the top 10 is all on the A compound. So you've got 2 drivers that are looking for a long run. Everybody else is kind of on a sprint setup. You also have the Blethen brothers. Stephen Blethen qualified 3rd. He told me the only thing he wants to do is beat his brother, who's qualified 7th. So we've got a little family battle going on there. But at the front of this field is John Heinrichs, and he is a man who stands alone. Everybody here has a bullseye on his back. Everybody knows that Heinrichs likes to play with the shoulders out, the elbows out a little bit. You're going to see a lot of strategy to try to shuffle Heinrichs back to kind of make sure that everyone else has a shot to get to this podium.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, I think a lot of people have that shot if they can do that. We were talking about just how closely grouped this is. I mean, you go all the way back, I think, to the 12th spot before you've got anybody that's even a second off of Heinrichs' times. It's packed.
That's right. And what we saw throughout qualifying, it wasn't like John was right at the front the whole time. Right. That was not the case. Leveroni led at some point. Blethen was up there. All these guys, in fact, Sheffer was way back until very, very late in the qualifying. So it's not like he's got this dominant situation like he has had sometimes in the past. But here's the deal. John Heinrich's batting average, he has 15 wins out of 32 starts at the runoffs. And he usually runs in 2 classes. So you bring 2 cars, 500 batting average, you're probably going to win one of them at least.
Yeah, I mean, he's got that potential. He's you know, certainly been at it for a while. We're taking a look here at this track. Absolutely phenomenal. There's a look up through those climbing S's, one of the real iconic spots here. 3 1/4 miles and 17 counted corners. And you can almost divide the track in half, can't you? There's 3 sectors,
right?
But the first and third, technical.
That's right.
That second sector is all about speed.
That's right. I mean, the track does overall have a large balance to it. As you mentioned, sectors 1 and 3, very much handling sections, but they do lead on to long straights. And those long straights do favor the horsepower of cars. And in fact, on a cool morning like this, these cars make more horsepower, so that's going to be even more of an advantage. So we'll see some of the differences between the cars. RX-8s, one of the things with them is they're better when it's cool. If it's in warm conditions, they lose a little bit of the advantage. The Subarus would rather it be a little warmer so that they have the advantage there, but that's not what we've got this morning.
And field heading out now for their pace and parade lap. And you keep in mind, make more power when it's cool. It takes longer, though, for those tires to get up to temp and generate grip. Your first run up through those climbing S's and through turn 10 in particular, you're going to be hanging on.
There's no doubt about that, Greg. And as Hayward mentioned, these guys are all running on DOT, what we call R-Comp tires. These are DOT-approved tires, though they're really made for racing on the track. 2 of our top competitors, Leveroni and Fowler, both opting for the harder of the tires, and it's going to be a little harder for them to get those tires up to temp, particularly on this cool morning. The track temperature is cool, the ambient temperatures are cool, so they may have a little trouble staying with the pack there on that first lap. They'll be scrubbing them in hard on this warm-up lap as we watch them doing that right now. Whereas Heinrich, he's going to be hot right out of the box.
Well, and as you talk about the Tire Rack Pole Award winner being John Heinrich, then Nick Leverone on that front row, the 35 and the 186, Blethen in the RST Performance Mazda, and Scheffer in the Mazda Hoosier Mazda RX-8, then Fowler and Boilo, as we've talked about, the Mazda, and Boilo in the Acura, then Raymond Blethen, the 151 7th, and Jared Lendrum 8th, Mazda and Subaru 9th and 10th, Tyler Quantz in the Drake Motorsports Mazda MX-5, and Steve Burtock in the MX-5, Brian Riley in the number 8 Acoustic Blueprint Mazda, the 98 of Kevin Fryer in the Mazda MX-5, then Brian Horowitz and Felix Borodati in the Scion FRS for Horowitz, and then the Toyota 86 for Borodati. Then Morgan Meller and Brian Nelson in the G-Lock Brake Mazda and the Panic Motorsport Mazda, respectively. Brent Simonson and Derek Ambrose. Next up, Strickland and Munnerlin. And Strickland second in the Hoosier Super Tour points, so watch him to come up from the back. Then Sergio Zlobin, Tim Mullen, Jonathan Colin McClendon, Mike Burke, and Chris Collins will round out the field. And we are set to go for our first run for the gold of the 2019 75th birthday, 56th running of the SCCA National Championship Runoffs at VIR. You can see that beautiful blue Camaro pace car there. It's got the 75th birthday wrap. This year, in February of 1944, the SCCA was born. This is the 75th anniversary, the 75th birthday year of this, and this is the 56th running of the Runoffs. Pretty special stuff, and then to have it here at VIR, this is going to be great.
It is, and with a track that was birthed very much in that similar time frame there in the late 50s. Here basically took a nice natural terrain road course here, built by bulldozer, if you will. A couple of guys just basically drove around the countryside, the field here, and if you look at some old pictures, you'll see there was a whole lot more trees here for the longest time.
Well, that corner right there, yeah, the old oak tree, and it was felled, I think, in a lightning storm, and and this track, you know, it went through a tough period for a while, and then it was rebirthed in 2000. It reopened as America's first motorsports resort,
right?
And it has just just a spectacular venue. This is that long back straight. They actually have, you can run separate courses, and that's the south pits, if you will, if you're running the separate track. This long run they call Madison Avenue. It's an absolutely great name. And this is that long blast. It climbs, you come over that rise, it dips a little bit, Andy, and then you're into a very tricky sequence of corners, turn 13 leading into 14. Right. You're turning, braking, a lot going on.
Yeah, and different cars in different classes will treat turn 13 either as just a little bit of a kink or a true braking moment, depending on how much horsepower you have. Some of the classes we've seen earlier this week topping 180 miles an hour into the traps there right before the braking zone. These guys will be more in the 120 range, perhaps, down into there. So they'll treat it a little bit more like a kink. That is unless somebody is right beside you. So then you're going to have a little game of chicken on entry there. Turn 14, of course, where you really have to slow down.
We are ready to go racing here. Turning 4, the run for the gold onto the front straight. Lights out, safety car is in, and John Heinrichsey, 15-time national champion, bringing them up to the green to kick off this first day of racing at the Runoffs, and green flag flies up to the outside. Nick Lavaroni looks like he got a little bit better of a run. Coming with him is Owen Scheffer in the 18. They want to swamp Heinrichsey if they can, but he's got the inside. How is this going to work? Deep on the brakes, cold conditions. Heinrichsey has it under control.
Yeah, no doubt. Lavaroni there on the R7 tire, the harder tire. He's going to come in later on, as Hayward mentioned. It's going to be more of a long run for him. Heinrichsey on the softer compound tire, able to really get rolling. And look at him starting to pull a gap here as we go through turn 3 into 4A.
This is really tricky corner complex right here, this tight, as you said, 4A, 4B. Got to get through this corner well, because now from this exit of 5, right here, you're starting to build speed all the way through the first section of S's. Then you head under the bridge, and then you're up into the climbing S's. Extremely fast section of track with lots of elevation change.
Absolutely, and what you notice there, Greg, is every time they make a turn here over the apex, you see the little rise and dip over every single one of those, so the car gets a little bit light, and you have to maintain control of it even as you clip the apex curve there.
And then turn 10, you really turn into that corner, absolutely blind on faith.
Blind on faith, and it's a turn that drivers will tell you it's key to a fast lap, but the risk-reward ratio is not particularly in your favor. You really want to get all of it, but if you go over the edge there, you're going for a long ride through the grass.
And without doubt, probably the most important corner is this one, turn 12, that they just came out of to launch you down this long straight. If you get it wrong, you're suffering relative to everybody else you're racing with. This little scrap a little bit farther back in the field, that is the number 13 of Boilo. And he's got some serious company. He and Jared Lendrum are going after it here. Lendrum, a good start.
That's right, and Boilo, of course, with that Honda power. A lot of folks will tell you this is sort of a Honda track in a lot of ways, because they make great 4-cylinder motors, make a lot of power out of those motors. They are front-wheel drive, though, and so you're trying to do many things with those front tires. So that's the handling handicap, but they do have a little bit of a power advantage. Ooh, I'm seeing,
Big
going
spin.
around.
Number 66 getting it just a bit wrong. It's Thomas Fowler.
That's right. I saw a lot of smoke coming out of there just prior to that, so I think a locked-up brake situation there, perhaps.
As he gathers it up, it's right down at the exit of Hogpen, the last turn.
And that's a key turn as well.
He's broke.
Oh, he is, yes.
Watch
that
it
may have
here.
been...
Yep, that right rear corner, something snapped, I think.
Yeah, looking like a suspension failure or tire coming off the rim right there on the entrance. And that's
driving around him for everybody to keep out of him.
That's really a shame, because as we mentioned earlier, it's his first time back at the Runoffs in a long, long time. It was great to see him out here. I had a nice long chat with him the other day. And he's super happy to be here, supporting a few other cars as well, customers.
Does, but great qualifying run too.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And this is what the field really didn't want to see, is Heinrichsey being able to build a little bit of an advantage here.
And I think that some of that was a result of the incident there. When Fowler started going off, people had to check up, and that allowed Heinrichsey to escape. And this is what he did last year initially, but then Gresham Wagner was able to stay right on him throughout the rest of the race. Looking at those flames coming out of the back of the Mazda RX-8s, those rotary motors known for belching flames.
That's a great battle between Blethyn and Scheffer. Third and fourth, just a little bit back of that blue Subaru BRZ of Leveroni.
So Leverone's tires should be really coming in right about now. And what we would expect to see is the performance of the tire to be similar to the softer compound tire for about the next 15, 20 minutes or so. And then he's going to start having a tire advantage towards the end of the race.
Right there you see Blethen, they went number 151. I think that's Tyler Quantz. And that silver Mazda that he is working over right now.
Yeah, and if you'll notice on the right front of Quantz's car, he had a little bit of trouble with an impact earlier this week. It's good to see him back on track. We saw him back out again for Q3. I believe that was in Q2 or Q1 where he had that issue. So that's one of the great things about SCCA Club Racing is everybody helps everybody get back on track.
That's true.
A real family out here.
And a great run for Tyler. I mean, qualified in the 9th spot currently. Sitting in the top 5. Yes, he's got some pressure from Blethen, but Tyler, a superb opening sequence of laps. And I think he too may have been helped by that moment by Fowler, because he chose wisely.
Yeah, he sure did.
Was able to grab a couple of spots, but he also made some great passes as well.
I'm just noticing up here on the timing and scoring sheets a 2:11.4 for Heinrichsey, and that is now resetting the track record here for this class that was held by Matt Fosnacht back in 2017 in a Mazda MX-5. So new track record there for Heinrichsey.
Considering that the big VIR National that was run here, the Hoosier Super Tour event that everybody was treating, they figured as a test for the runoffs here, the weather was pretty abysmal. A lot of rain, and the track was never as fast as it is today. So we were really expecting to see some records fall here, weren't we?
Absolutely, particularly in the classes where folks are having to, we call them wrenching classes. These are not the spec car classes. These are classes where cars are actually developed and all. So the guys are going to put their A game out for the runoffs. Whoa!
Turn 10.
That is it. As we were just talking about that earlier. That is called South Bend, and it leads here into Oak Tree. There used to be a really beautiful oak tree right there, and as you said,
problem there. The 71 in Lendrum. It's like he almost missed a shift.
Missed a shift or caught that exit curb a little too hard. They've recently repaved this track back in 2014, and they opened up the exit areas in a couple of places, and that is one of them. So the drivers will drive over that exit curb and use the pavement on the other side. But if you catch it wrong, it'll really upset the car, particularly as you're trying to unwind the wheel and add power. 3 wide down into 13. This is what I said earlier.
Yep.
It's a real game of chicken down into there.
Yeah, Burtock and Lendrum in the 71 and the 190 respectively. The car that ran wide up at turn 10, I think is the number 3 of Simonson. And he was able to gather it back up. And then when he had that little bit of a moment for Lendrum, he was able to get around him and actually create a bit of a gap. You've got to be opportunistic. When things happen, you got to be able to jump on it here. And look here, Riley now getting a good run. It looked like the 190 of Burtock, that black Mazda right there, got a particularly solid run out of Hogpen. Now, though, way late on the brakes relative to the slightly heavier RX-8, and right back through he goes.
That's right. People will tell you, I mean, that's one of the key braking zones on the track for passing. You either do a draft pass down into there, or you do an out-braking maneuver. Although the out-braking maneuvers oftentimes will lead into an over-under situation where the overtaken car can repass if he sees it coming.
Again, if everything goes green, these are scheduled to be 15-lap races. And we have completed 3, working 4. And up front, it remains Heinrichsey, but drop back to this tasty little battle, and it is some really good racing that's unfolding here.
I'll tell you, though, I'm looking at the scoring sheets up here right now, and Leveroni is lapping almost a second faster than Heinrichsey just did on the last go-round. So either Heinrichsey had a moment, or, as we mentioned earlier, those tires are really coming in for Nick. Nick runs a prep shop up in the New England area, so he gets down here fairly frequently. So he's got a lot of time on this track. Very familiar with it, does a lot of testing.
And I think I misidentified Simonson as that car that had that little run wide. It was actually the number 2 of Horowitz. So I want to clarify that. And they're in that great scrap, 8th, 9th, 10th, Horowitz, Lendrum, Riley, Burtock, putting on a show. And as you pointed out, yes, there is Heinrichsey. But yeah, Leveroni has closed it up a little bit.
Yep.
He's bringing Blethen right with him.
He sure is. And if those guys can work together instead of trying to battle each other, then the two of them working together will catch Heinrichs, because these cars can draft. It does make a big difference down those long straightaways.
This is one of them. You think about this place, you think about the run from 12 to 14, but out of the last turn, 17 down into turn 1, it's a pretty good long stretch as well.
It is indeed, and that's key to making good lap times around here.
And this is a tricky corner, lots of action here. It's an increasing radius. Turn 1 that leads you into that 2, 3, 4, 5 complex. That is so tricky right here. Use every bit of that exit curve.
The other thing you'll notice these drivers having to battle in these early morning conditions is the shadows and the direct sunlight.
Ooh.
Whoa, yeah. Because you go through those sections, particularly over there by 1, 2, and 3, where there's a lot of trees and stuff that are creating those shadows. We see it here right now in the lower S's. You're going to get the sun in your eyes, and then it's going to be dark. It's going to go back and forth. Here we are in a dark section as we lead up into the upper S's. You have to deal with that. You may not always be able to actually see the car in front of you, or for sure seeing every little bit of the track.
And it changes grip. If you got a spot where the sun's beating down the track and then you suddenly go into a shadow, it's just not going to be quite as grippy. And it was Quantz here in that silver 68 that had that big save over in the turn 4 area. Boy, he rolls speed up through turn 11 and 12. And he needed to. He wants to get a run here and try and do something with Sheffer. As we go back a little bit, boy, that was a big double move. See if he was able to hang on to it right in front of this group. He did. Snuck around on the number 2 of Horowitz.
You see these freight trains are building here, and that's allowing the draft pass to be a possibility.
There's the 71 of Lendrum, pops to the outside, squeezes in.
Yep, makes the pass nice and clean.
Right up behind Fryer.
Good respectful racing there.
Well, it's silly to duke and battle too much on a straight because you're just going to let everybody else swamp you.
Exactly.
So you need to be just thinking big picture here. A minute there, it looked like Lendrum might be able to get to the inside of Fryer and stick it down into 14, but Fryer able to carry a little bit more speed, close the door. That Burgundy number 98.
I think Heinrichs must have heard me talking, because all of a sudden he laid down a new track record, 2:11.1 there, putting another 3/10 on his previous best. Leveroni also running under the old track record at 2:11.3 for that last lap.
Look at Bethel.
And Bethel is right there as well. So the three of them turning some super quick laps here in the low 2:11 range.
Oh, and again, look at Lendrum trying the outside.
Not going to be able to make it work here.
Oh, look at this opportunistic move. The
3 wide.
Horowitz 3 wide at the exit of 1.
Oh my.
Heading into 2. 3 into 2. That's tough, man.
He's got to choose his dance partner here heading into 3.
He's got the inside, and I think that's going to freeze Fryer, which is an ironic turn to race, isn't it? On the outside. That was a nice move by the 71 Lendrum, and then very opportunistic for Horowitz. Brian Horowitz, keep in mind, folks, currently sitting 9th, has started in the 13th spot. So he, too, has had a really stout early race. Oh, no. I think it's Riley. Yep, that silver Mazda coming up, trying to do something with the 98 of Fryer. Got some good little packs here, don't we?
Right, so those puffs of smoke you see there, that was what we were talking about earlier, as you crest the rises of each of those apexes through those upper S's, and you have to do that in order to straighten out the track as much as you can. But if you go too far, 1, it upsets the car, but 2, you lose a lot of grip with that dirt.
So as we have completed 5 of the 15 laps, it is John Heinrichs continuing to lead here in turning 4 over Nick Leveroni, and the number 50 of Stephen Blethen currently in medal positions at VIR.
Janice.
What's up, Doug? Hi, Cheryl.
What got into you?
At Sunoco, we know how to fuel peak performance. We've been doing it for American racing for over 50 years. Fuel your best.
Isn't it time you connected to something greater? Sometimes the best way to connect is to disconnect. This moment of escape was brought to you by Haggerty, for people who love cars. Experience the reimagined Mazda 3.
And welcome back to our coverage of the 56th annual SCCA National Championship Runoffs, presented by Mazda. Great to have you with us here. And while we were in break, obviously, you always have some developments unfolding, and this battle continued to be pretty stout. Borowitz got down to the inside of the 98 right there, Fryer. But watch behind. Big moment there is the 0-9 of Meller just clicking the back of Riley, both of them off course.
You could see the door opening, and he took advantage of it, but unfortunately just barely tagged the back end of that car, spinning it around.
A bit of damage on both of those machines, but look at this. Heinrichs, when we went to break, had stretched that margin up to a little over a second on Leveroni. Guess what, folks? Under half a second last time by start finish, and I think it's closer still.
And in fact, Leveroni now into the 10s on lap time, 2:10.9, the new lap record for Leveroni. And this is exactly what we thought was going to happen, where his tires are going to really be coming in for the second half of this race, where Heinrichs on the softer compound was able to pull a gap initially. But Leveroni now on the hunt. You can just imagine that. And that's the cool thing. When you see that car coming closer to you, it suddenly makes you a better driver.
It's inspirational in many ways, isn't it?
True. It's that carrot and the horse deal.
Yeah, you look back, Leveroni does, and sees that margin back to Blethen now is opened up. He doesn't have to worry about Blethen trying to do anything with him. He can just put the mirrors down and go after Heinrichs. There's a look here at Derek Ambrose. Back in the pack just a little bit, number 70.
Ambrose driving something a little different there, a Mazda 3. Was chatting with him last night. He said this car has amazing brakes. He can brake like a Miata way down into the 2 marker on most of these turns. Of course, the brakes don't typically last very long. He showed me some of the parts that came off of his car, and there wasn't a whole lot left.
So, well, that's the thing, isn't it? It's a 15-lap race. You want brakes that work great for 15 and a half.
That's right. That's the Colin Chapman thing.
That's exactly right.
Love watching him through the rise there in his upper S's, and it's flat out for these guys all the way up to South Bend. And you do just a slight breathe and try not to lose it over the edge of the track.
133 there of Sergio Slobin up from 21st, putting together a nice little run. Got somebody off. He may have had the big off happen at the exit of 10, which is easy enough. That's Strickland. He was running 13th at the time. Gets gathered up. It's one of the nice things is, you know, if you go off at 10, there's nothing that you're really going to contact. You have a long slide. You can let things settle a little bit. He's gathered it back up, and going back to this battle and that talking about Ambrose in the Cork Sport entry. But a little bit of pressure here as the number 29 of Jonathan Collins McClendon has slipped in between Ambrose and Slobin, and this is a really fun battle. And that's one of the wonderful things about SCCA racing is this is a battle for 18th.
Right, and there's always a battle. There's always somebody.
You always find somebody that is running at the same pace you are, and you get into these great races. And if you're just enmeshed in a race like this, whether it's for first, 10th, or 18th, you get out of the car, you're grinning.
Absolutely, there's no doubt about it. Right? These guys that they have all different levels of commitment to what they're doing for the sport. You know, in the Sports Car Club of America, we're doing this. We're passionate motorsports enthusiasts. This is for recreation. This is not their job.
This is amateur. This is amateur national championship stuff. Great read there by Ambrose, knowing how deep that 29 of McClendon, that little MX-5, could get on the brakes.
Right.
Used his little bit of power to get around him, and then immediately came across, took that inside lane away. You got to be savvy like that, and Boy, I'll tell you, Heinrichs and Leveroni have just taken it to a new level now. Blethyn has dropped almost 2 seconds behind these guys. This has become mano a mano.
It has. Again, much like we saw last year, we had a great battle all the way to the flag, and it's looking like, yeah, Leveroni's starting to pull up on him with that drafting help now down the long straightaways. And these two cars are relatively similar. They have different brand names on them. One's a Toyota, one's a Subaru, but they're essentially the same car. We call them the twins. The Subaru BRZ and the Toyota 86, previously called the Scion FRS.
Look back there again at Tyler Quantz, who's managed to get around Sheffer, now sits in the 4th spot. But the problem for him is he's got a few second gap behind Blethyn, so he's got to find something or have a little bit of an issue for Blethyn to put Tyler possibly into medal contention. Oh, look at this, Leveroni down to the inside. Heinrichs opening that door up.
There it is, classic passing zone into turn 1, but you gotta hold it here through turn 2. Turn 2, not a maximum grip cornering turn. It just sets you up into 3. And Heinrichs, the veteran that he is, look how he plays that. Using all the track, Nick going for the inside.
Nice move by Leveroni, though. That was sweet. Heinrichs was able to stay put. Look at this, side by side through 4 corners.
Amazing.
That's respectful, close, intense racing.
It truly is, and both these guys are real veterans. They've been doing this for a long time. Nick's been out here, what is it, I think 10 times to the runoffs.
Yep, since 11th start, yeah.
Yep, so he's been doing it for a long time.
And Heinrichs is just...
And now he's on him.
Yeah.
Now he's on him. Couldn't put a piece of paper between those two cars. Flat out through those upper S's. Here we go into South Bend. Risk reward, little bit of
slide by Heinrichs, those tires.
And this is what's going to happen. So Nick's going to keep putting pressure on John.
Yep.
And John's going to start to potentially overdrive those tires. They're going to overheat. His car's going to start doing things he doesn't want it to do. And Nick's just going to be able to drive on by. Let's watch how they take this down into turn 13.
And Nick got a good run through 12. He's going to make the move. And the question is, how hard does Heinrichs fight him, if at all, down into 13 and 14?
It looks like not at all.
Not much. I think he's gonna settle to follow for a little bit here.
You could see him feint just a little bit to the inside there, but it wasn't there that go round. So at this point, you know, your strategy oftentimes is to kind of get behind the other guy, let your own tires cool off. Because again, if you've got the draft, it's going to help you.
Yep.
Not have to use your car up quite as much.
Through the final turn, Hog Pen, so named because they're literally, back in the early days, used to be a
There was a lot of trees out here. There were other buildings, and that one of them, little structure there, was the Hog Pen.
Yeah, look at Leveroni's run down through that section of track. I was wondering if he might be under attack by Heinrichs down into turn 1, and he was able to build enough of a margin that John couldn't do anything with it.
Yeah, he got that good run out of Hog Pen. Another key places for building speed here at VIR.
Coming up in the back of, I believe it's the number 8 that Brian Riley, who was involved in that incident down in turn 1.
And that's the thing we're going to see in a lot of these races.
Yeah, they've
where
caught
you've
him.
got some folks who are a little farther back in the field. The leaders are going to have to then pick their way through, and depending on how you encounter them, you can use that to your advantage, or it may end up pulling you back a little bit from your competitors.
Here's Blethyn trying to hang on to that podium position, but Quantz is closing. Quantz has taken about 2 seconds off of Blethyn. His last lap was a 2:11.7 to Blethyn's 2:13.5. And we said he's going to have to find something, and he apparently has, as Tyler has been fast from the drop of the green.
He has indeed.
And, silver number 68 chasing this beautiful number 50 of Blethyn.
Again, those little puffs of smoke as they clip those apex curves just beyond. Downshift there with the rotary motor belching flames, which how you know you've got it tuned just right.
Has he got a damaged muffler on the back of the number 50? Because it looks like it might be dry. At first I thought it was the toe strap, but I think the muffler may have dropped.
Yeah, I did see a piece of debris back there in the upper S's. We'll keep an eye on that as we go down. It does look like it's hanging low one way or the other.
A couple of, there's some battle scars on Tyler Quantz's number 68.
Yeah.
All All right, look at this. Battle for the final medal position is on.
You called it. Vaughn's
Tyler
making the
Brown
move.
to the inside. Needed to roll a lot of speed. He got to the inside, and now if he could just stay close enough, I would think, Andy, he should be able to out-deep him down into 1.
Yeah, for sure. The braking on the MX-5 there should be better. Look, oh, Heinrichs back around. Again, we're going to play this dance again.
Exactly.
We've seen this. Do we get the same ending or not? So Nick staying ahead this time. This is what we talked about earlier. You get that over and under into turn 1. You can outbrake the guy. You got the draft going down the straight. You can outbrake him inside. But if he plays it right, he can drive you right back around the outside. And Nick Lavaroni executing that over under to perfection.
And as we figured, Quant's able to use the lightweight braking ability of that MX-5 and ducked underneath Blethyn and has picked up 3rd in a potential bronze medal.
Yeah, there's that piece of debris I saw there. Yeah, getting on the podium at the runoffs is a big deal.
It's huge.
It's a really big deal.
I mean, it's one race for the championship, but they do give out 3 medals.
They do.
And if you're a podium finisher, you've achieved something pretty special.
Well, and not only that, but they also win contingency money. These manufacturers, Mazda in particular, one of the manufacturers that offers strong contingency programs. So that helps defray the costs of this racing. Because again, this is amateur motorsports. Anything you can do to help defray those costs is a great thing.
That's Owen Sheffer we're watching right now, sitting in the 5th spot. It's out of Warrington, Virginia, Washington, D.C. region, in the Mazda Hoosier RX. And he's going to see if he can maybe close it up and get a run on the number 50 of Blethyn, and now sits in the 4th spot. Up and over this right, beautiful shot right there.
Looking at these lap times now, and remember we were down in the low 211s there for a while. Now we're well a second off, so everybody's tires now a little bit off.
Look at this great scrap here. Fryer, Horowitz, right in a fierce little battle here, and I think that's the number 151 indeed of Blethyn, the second of the Blethyns, right, if you will. And that's Raymond. He's brought back and is right in this great battle. And this is 6th, 7th, and 8th. Blethyn got a nice run there, trying to get back around the 98 of Fryer. But the problem is, you get into a braking zone, and that's where that little MX-5 platform just excels. And Blethyn drifted a little wide, and Horowitz decided to try and fill it. But the problem is, you do that. We've seen this play out many times. The next turn, you're trapped up on the outside.
That's right. That's the thing when you have these kinds of situations, turning one way, turning the other way. You get the pass-repass thing. And that's one of the things that's great about VIR. It sets that up in several places, not just one. Most tracks maybe have one of those sort of deals. But we've got 3 different places where that can play out in this track.
In this section, the first set of S's, they call it the snake. You work through that, then you head underneath the Nissan Bridge, and then into the climbing S's, really close there.
Flat out through here, and you're not supposed to be able to pass here, but I don't think these guys got the memo.
Oh, boy.
Perhaps up into turn 10 South Bend. Oh, you got to pass these back markers, though.
Got through, but it cost Fryer.
It did.
Big bounce. Oh, and 3 abreast. What a move by Horowitz, trying to thread the needle up into 12. It's trapped on the outside there, but what an opportunistic. Oh, and he drops the tires. That's going to kill his exit.
Yep.
That's fun stuff.
It sure is, and there are multiple lines through that turn normally, and I think we saw all 3 of those executed right there.
Yeah, by 3 different cars at once. That was impressive stuff.
I don't think that was the plan. And that's the great thing about wheel-to-wheel racing. So much of what you're doing is reacting to the situation.
Yep.
It's not like qualifying or time trialing where you're trying to lay down that perfect lap and all like that. Here you have to change your line, compromise your line depending on what's going on with the other guy. And in good, respectful racing, he's doing the exact same thing.
Well, it's the application along with speed of racecraft.
Right.
And when you're in a head-to-head competition, that truly changes the dynamic. And look at this.
back to Leveroni and Heinrichs again.
No, that Heinrichs is dropping. He slipped to 4th.
Oh, you're right.
Last time by, something has happened because Quantz is now 2nd, and this is the battle for the final medal.
Yeah, either he burned his tires off or something's going on with that car because he's down to 2:13 lap.
There is your leader.
2:14 lap
and
times.
Look at the margin.
Yeah, Nick now driving away.
There's Quantz in 2nd.
Quantz.
What a story is unfolding here. And then here's that battle for the final podium. And there's 2 laps to go. This one and the white flag lap. Can Heinrichs earn another medal? Wow, huge development. And, you know, we've been talking about it. His car just seems to have gone off a little bit. I watched him. You don't see John Heinrichs missing apexes very much. And he's been missing a few.
Yeah, no doubt. And it kind of started right around the time Leveroni was pressuring him.
Yes.
We saw the back end move around on the car a little bit at that point. So potentially, I mean, I don't see anything that looks untoward on the car right now. So I have to believe it's tires.
Needs a big run here. Oh, and this, the 151, and that battle of Blethyn and Horowitz going wrong down in turn 1. Horowitz catching some air, Andy.
No doubt about that. Looked like he tried to get him on the outside there and just could not quite execute it.
It's interesting watching this dynamic because in spots, Blethyn, the car just seems to have more in it. And then Heinrichs will close it up just a little bit and get right back on his tail.
Yeah, 2 very different cars there, the Mazda RX-8 with the rotary motor and the Toyota 86. Naturally aspirated, normal.
Looks like Heinrichs' car, as you would expect with this, that RX-8, that has some serious straight line.
Yes, indeed.
He's able to open it up, but then they get into the twistier parts of the track, and Heinrichs
you can see him pulling a gap right here.
Exactly.
Even though he's got the draft. I mean, that's the other possibility, is that something may have just gone soft in the motor on Heinrichs' car as well. But based on what I'm seeing, it feels more like a tire thing.
We are on our final lap.
We are.
For Leveroni, how nice will this be?
He has been here a number of times, 10 runoffs. This is his 11th, 4 top 5 finishes. But this is his first potential podium even.
Yeah, he's had a fast lap before. He's going to get a second one, I think, here.
Previous best was only 4th where he was in T4 last year.
And Heinrichs fought his way back through, at least to this stage, up into a medal position. But Blethyn, look at this, just going to be an acceleration run. Blethyn's going to get the inside into the entry to the climbing S's. Heinrichs, pretty savvy, has recognized right there, don't fight him at that part of the track.
Right. No doubt, because it's a 1-lap
now
battle.
He's going to dive late into 10.
South Bend. And that's,
what a move.
That's what we talked about earlier. That is a total risk-reward move.
Yep.
But a guy with the experience of Heinrichs is the guy who's going to execute that to perfection. Look at that.
Well, and he knew he needed to because he knows that straight line speed of that Mazda.
And let's watch how this goes.
Run. Yeah. Blethyn's just going to peg it right now.
Yep. He's going to pull up to his bumper. He's going to get the drop.
Scheffer's
He's going to pull
catching
around.
these guys too in the back.
Well, anytime you get guys battling like that, you're going to back up to the guy behind you, and that's what they're doing.
All right, Blethyn's builds a little bit of a margin, but here we go. Scheffer thinking about out-deeping him.
See, now John driving in his mirrors. You saw him pulled to the left there a little offline to create a little blockage situation.
Meanwhile, out of the last turn, Nick Leveroni on his way to a gold medal in the runoffs in Touring 4 with a new track record. Absolutely superb run. As you pointed out, first visit to the podium, and he does it with a gold. Look at this battle coming to the line. Quantz grabs second, but at the line, Blethyn just hanging on. Just to confirm it, Blethyn and Scheffer nipping Heinrichs for 4th.
What an amazing finish there. What a great race there for Leveroni.
Yeah.
He's a great situation. I mean, here's a guy that started off as an autocrosser a long time, won some championships autocrossing, got into road racing. He's been a fixture in the circuit. He's super excited. Look at that finger out the window. Number 1. You are number 1, Nick.
That's very cool. Gets the gold medal draped around his neck. And I want to give a big shout out here into the 6th spot, the number 3 of Brent Simonson, the RP Performance Hoosier Hawk RX-8. Brent started in the 17th spot.
Wow.
And worked his way up into 6th. That's pretty remarkable.
Yep, what a great run. What
Absolutely.
a great run there.
But this is the man who got it done.
He did.
And with Figa as well. And
Flat Out Motorsports, the name of his shop.
Aptly named, huh?
There you go. And,
this day,
particularly at this track, and that's what got him there too.
Yeah.
Driving flat out, making that cool tire choice. Now remember, only 2 of our drivers chose to run on the harder tires. He's one of them, and Tom Fowler, who had that unfortunate incident, was the other, and it certainly has paid off for Leveroni. Now what I will be interested in seeing if other people
are
make the
attention
choice, because
now,
this will be a recurring theme as we go through some of the other races.
Well, and it's interesting on a cool morning like this, and this is a track that you do get yellows and full course cautions on. You would think in that situation the soft tire would be the one, so it would come back a little quicker. But apparently Nick knew of what he was thinking, because he came up with a plan that went green the whole way, and that car just stuck in that second half of the race. And as a result, he stuck it on the top of the box.
He sure did.
Yeah.
Look at that excitement.
I
think it's really settling in now. Yeah. It really is, because you just can't let yourself think about it as you're going through those final laps. You just keep hitting your marks, moving through.
And right now you realize you're going to make that turn into pit lane, and instead of going back to your paddock, you're going to go get a gold medal draped around your neck.
That's exactly right. Podium cars, go right here.
Yes,
you go at the head of the line, my friend.
Yeah, cool down lap when you're a podium finisher at the Runoffs, especially if you put in a lot of time and effort over the course of a year, and family sacrifices and the like, special stuff. Into the victory circle staging area comes your national champion for the first time, Nick Leveroni, in Touring 4. What a drive he put on. And he's going to step out of that car in just a minute, and we're going to hear from him. But you almost don't want to rush sometimes. You want to savor this moment.
Absolutely, absolutely. I can't wait to hear the excitement in his voice. You can see it in his eyes. You can see it in his face. The crew there, they're all super excited too. This guy has worked super hard for this.
He has. Let's get down to Hayward. There goes the gold, Hayward.
Nick Leveroni, the gold medal. Going around your neck, you got the Hoosier band going on. The first words out of your mouth, this is so awesome.
Oh, unbelievable! Woo! Awesome.
Tell me a little bit about your race. You came out on the hard tire. Was that your advantage?
Yeah, I think that was my advantage. I think he faded at the end. I don't know if he was on A's or not, but the car started fading. I think he was struggling a little bit with the car. I just kept the pressure on. Halfway through the race, I was closing the gap good. And, he kept making little mistakes. He made a dive bomb into one to try to get by me, but it was a little bit over-under. It was just great, clean racing by him and me. Unbelievable. I couldn't believe it when he faded. I was so excited. I'm just thinking, the car's going to break. Don't break, car.
You've been chasing this for a long time. You got a lot of people here in the car that have helped you. What does this mean to you and to Flat Out Motorsports?
So much to Flat Out Motorsports. They do such a great job. Tireless effort all the time to try to get these cars to run right and be fast. You can rent this car. You can rent our Spec Miatas. You can rent them, and they'll win national championships. How cool is that?
Congratulations, Nick.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'll tell you, there you see the enthusiasm. We've got, over 600 of people equally as passionate and enthusiastic as he is that's here. And it's all for the joy of the competition and the camaraderie. When you join SCCA, you've joined a family. And here's a look at our top 10. Leveroni, Quanson, Blethen, and Tyler. Also just a stellar drive today.
And no doubt about it. John Heinrich, the 10,000-pound gorilla, everybody thought had it in the bag, fading there towards the end. And again, we don't know exactly where we're thinking tires, but great racing. And as Nick mentioned, super respectful racing. That was the cool part about it. These guys have been doing this a long time and using the advantages of their cars and their tactics to get the passes done.
Yeah, absolutely. And a couple other guys that we were just talking about, some great racing, are back with Hayward.
Tyler, qualified ninth. You had the drive of the race coming through this field. Did you know you had a car that could do this morning?
I thought so, but the car was handling great all weekend. I was just trying to keep up with these guys. So it was a great race, and these guys are all race hard and made it a tough race. So.
Well, congratulations to you on the silver. And Steven, you said all you wanted to do was beat your brother. You got a medal in the process.
Yeah, I beat my brother, and I wanted to give him a run for that front podium. I mean, we were all qualifying 0.04 seconds, which was awesome. I broke a sway bar about the 4th lap. So I just couldn't stay with that front pack, and I was like, how fast is Tyler catching me? Then he got by me, and then Heinrichs, I think, broke a transmission. So he was really slow in the straights. I was really slow in the turns for that last half of the race. I think me and Heinrichs passed each other 4 times on the last lap. I'm like, no, and we got it. We held on, so awesome run.
Well, it was a heck of a show. Congratulations to both of you for the podium finish.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Awesome.
Yeah, and he gets to make that Thanksgiving dinner really awkward.
Oh, yeah. You know that'll keep coming up over and over again until next year's runoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. So, out on the lap of honor with the checkered flag flying, Nick Leverone. You could hear the absolute joy, passion, and excitement. It's about as much fun as you can have with a car, I think, is going out and winning yourself the championship. Some absolutely fabulous racing that unfolded here in the Touring 4 Run for the Gold in the National Championships. And that blue machine on the outside of the front row, he was up and down, but in the end, he was on top. And some interesting moments certainly unfolding. But in the end, the national championship going to Nick Leverone with Tyler Quant second, and completing your podium, Stephen Blethen in Touring 4 at Virginia International Raceway.
I probably need new tires.
You do.
What if they sold tires online?
We do. We're TireRack.com.
They could offer lots of tires.
We have so many tires.
And help you find the right tire.
It's called the Tire Decision Guide.
Oh, and they could ship them to a nearby mechanic.
We shipped over 7,000 independent recommended installers.
This is an amazing idea. Sorry.
TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be.
Find inspiration in every mile. The Mazda CX-5 with turbo. Feel alive.